Solid. So we're recording this to make sure that we get it up on YouTube, speaking on social media platforms, right? Again, I don't want people to confuse likes for conversion, right? And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Actually, we're going to talk a lot about that today. And so, what do I mean by this? I mean, I've had people come up to me and say, "Hey, I did this video or I did this content or whatever, and it got 1,000 likes." Okay, cool. You got 1,000 likes. How many DMs did you get based on that video that converted to a meeting, that converted to a contract, right? And they're like, well, and I'm like, okay, well, that's where we're missing the gap, right? And so what I want to do is give you guys some information on the different social media platforms. And the reason I want to do this is because I want you guys to be able to pick and choose which platform you want to go in on coming soon, right? Like this year, like how are you going to go extra heavy this year? And if you spent time with us in the last few sessions, we really went deep. Last two sessions, I would say we had a two-part business planning kind of setup, and hopefully one of those goals or major goals that you guys have for yourselves in the 2025 is for you to level up on social media, right? And so I follow a guy named Alex Hormozy. He put out some great content on social media platforms. I went and I started reading about it and I started studying it and I started putting adaptation to it. And I found that this information, like everyone should know, right? And so I'm bringing it to you today because I think it's super important. And I hope that it is absolutely beneficial for you guys, right? So I'm big on all different platforms. Like honestly, we're on everything that I could imagine. And if we're not on it, it's probably not popular enough for me to pay attention to, right? So we do YouTube, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we're on X, we're on Twitter. I have a podcast, so the podcast streams to Apple, Android, and Spotify, right? So we create this constant kind of thing, and I'm going to not only give you information about the different platforms, I'm going to tell you what we do on those platforms and why it's important what we do on those platforms. And then hopefully you guys can just take that information, copy it, and paste it to your business, right? Like I want to be clear with this. The information I'm giving you is what I do and what I know maybe some of my coaching clients do, right? I want you to copy and paste. Absolutely want you to do it, right? So don't be afraid to take this information, just go do it too, right? That's the whole purpose of this. All right, so what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about a couple different topics. First of all, we're going to discuss the platform. Okay. The next thing we're going to discuss about that particular platform is we're going to discuss who on the platform is making over 100K. Obviously, why is that important to us? Well, we sell real estate, right? And so I want to be in the place where more families are making over 100K. That makes sense to you guys? I hope so, right? You want to be associated with families that are bringing in over $100,000 a year, okay? And then we're going to go over what percentage of people in the United States are on the platform. Okay. Then we're going to go over growth ability. What does it mean for you? And can you grow on this platform? Okay. Growth for you. The next thing we're going to talk about is depth and relationship. So what does depth mean and relationship? It means on this particular platform, how deep of a relationship can I gain with the people that are following me or interacting with me? Okay. All right. And then finally, we're going to talk about conversion to your website. Now, we're going to be specific about conversion to your website, but this you can study this and calculate this based on conversion to your product, conversion to your website. conversion to DMing you and setting time with you to work together on helping them buy or sell real estate, right? That's the real key here. Okay. That's what we want from the people on social media. Look, I don't know about you guys. I spend a lot of time on social media and I spend a lot of time doing videos. I'm going to show you guys my YouTube. I'm going to show you my different platforms today. I've got over 1,100 videos on YouTube, but this is like 10 years of loading video into YouTube, right? And so sometimes, or a lot of times, it's not about the quality of the video, it's about the quantity. And I'm gonna be real honest with you. The more you put on YouTube, the better it is. Simple as that, right? And so some of my earlier videos, like people look at me and they go, "Come on, Dave, you talk to the camera all day, every day. You're good at this. You're on stages. Like it's easy for you to get in front of a camera and do video." And you're right, but I've been doing it for a long time. Like when I first started, I looked crazy nervous, right? I'll never forget my first real estate video when I was actually in the video. So I had somebody tell me, don't just do videos of the house, which is, by the way, this tip is super relevant today. Just don't do videos of the house only, be in the video, right? And I was like, okay, I'm going to be in the video. And I had these 4 girls that were on my real estate team at the time, and I had them stand behind me in line while I stood kind of a little forward of them. And I was talking to this camera in this like suit that I absolutely felt uncomfortable in. It was a baggy gray suit. You guys can scroll down my YouTube and find this video. It's still there. I'm not embarrassed, right? And the girls were standing behind me, and I swear they looked like they were a part of the Rockettes, right? And we just, come look at this house. It's so beautiful, right? And so, and that progressed to what I'm capable of doing today, which is very, very different, very different. All right, so first thing I'm gonna talk about is TikTok. Big topic. A lot of stuff happening with TikTok in the news, a lot of activity with TikTok. They're talking about banning TikTok in the United States, cutting it completely out. They're talking about the difference between China's TikTok and the United States TikTok, and how China's TikTok talks about math and science and ours talks about crazy nonsense, right? And all this stuff is happening, so there's this consideration of banning it. And then yesterday I read that Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank is together with an investment group, and they're making an offer to buy the United States version of TikTok. Right? So TikTok has a lot of news and activity behind it, but let's get into the details. How many or what percentage of people, users on TikTok, are earning over $100,000 a year? Actually, it's more than I imagined, because many of you are thinking TikTok's for kids, right? And realtors that have gone viral on TikTok for doing some funny dance, right? And so it's actually 27%. 27% on the platform earn over $100,000 a year. It's a family unit. So this math is family, right? Now, as high as that sounds for the platform, you're going to be surprised with other numbers later on as we go through them. Okay. All right. So how many of the platform are in the United States? 33%, a third of TikTok sits in the United States. Okay. What's your growth ability for you? Growth ability is actually pretty high. It's not that hard to create video for TikTok and get a following and get people to see your videos. Okay. But I want to dig into a couple things there and you'll see what I mean. Depth in relationship. The average person will watch a TikTok video for between 5 and 20 seconds, but the majority of them will watch it for 5 seconds. If you've ever been on the TikTok platform, you know that you get on the platform and you just swipe and swipe and swipe and swipe and swipe, right? And that's all it is, video after video after video after video after video, right? And so most of the people are going to look at your video for about 5 seconds, or 20 seconds is the max. If you get somebody to be on your video for longer than 20 seconds, it's probably because they recognize who you are, right? And then conversion to your site, very low. Very hard to get people on there to convert to your site. Okay. Now, let's talk about this. TikTok has created algorithms to compete with Instagram, Facebook, and everybody else, right? Because TikTok became so popular that Instagram said, we're going to create Reels. And then Instagram Reels came out and they compete with TikTok. Now, Instagram Reels led to Facebook Reels because the same company, it's all owned by Meta. And then YouTube said, well, we're not going to be left out. So they created YouTube Shorts. They're basically all the same thing on different platforms. Here's the funny part. Now, we take the videos that we create on our team and the things that we do, and we put them across all the platforms. But what's happening now is TikTok is changing their algorithms to compete with the other platforms and not making the videos that are shared on the other platforms as visible on TikTok. They want you to create something for them. They want to be special, right? And so it makes it a little bit harder to get diverse with it because you now have to create a video for shorts, and then you got to create a different style video for Instagram and Facebook, and then you got to create something different for TikTok if you're trying to scale on all three places. If scaling is relevant on Instagram and irrelevant on TikTok, but you know you need to be there, then you can use the same content. You don't have to recreate it. Okay. The idea is to be present, to show up and be present. All right. So this is where you're at. Now, depth of relationship, again, they're swiping through. Again, you can go viral on TikTok, right? So growth for you, high. You can go viral on TikTok significantly easier than you can go viral on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube Shorts, right? But here's the difference. And we're actually going to talk about YouTube next. Here's the difference. If I go viral on TikTok, somebody will recognize me on the street and they'll be like, oh, hey, you're that guy, right? Like, I don't know your name, but your videos come up all the time. It's facial recognition. But if you catch me on YouTube, you are knowing my name, you know my face, you understand my content. So it's very different. So when somebody sees you and they go, hey, you're David Kurz, I see you on my YouTube all the time. I watch all your videos. Great content, dude. Thank you. Very different conversation. Okay. So I'm not kicking TikTok out. We're still going to be posting on it. We still want to be relevant on it. Again, there's 27% of the users on there make six-figure incomes. So I want to be on there. But me personally, for what I do, because the conversion to my product is low and I can only gain their attention for such a short time, I'm not going to recreate specific videos just for TikTok. Though TikTok's going to get the same stuff I'm putting on my other platforms. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next one. I'll be a little sloppy today. Bear with me. All right. So next one we're going to talk about is one of my favorites, YouTube. Why is this one of my favorites? You're going to find out right now. Okay. First of all, I think video is the winner. It has been the winner for the longest time, and it will continue to be the winner. Okay. The founder and CEO of Instagram came out with a statement on his Instagram. So, like, if you don't know, follow that guy on Instagram because he'll tell you what's happening on Instagram, right? Like, he's on there to let you know how much good stuff is happening on Instagram. Okay. And he made a statement and he said, Instagram did not, there was a lot of rumors going around that Instagram was favoring reels because there were videos, right? That Instagram was favoring the reel. Turns out, he said, we did not change our algorithms. Instagram is not pushing the videos. People are preferring video over static photo. So the reason why video is getting more attention, more likes, more comments is because the people, the consumer is the one that's actually active in it. Okay. And so that's why YouTube is so strong. There's the good, the bad, the ugly. We'll go through it right now. Now, check this out. What's the percentage of people that make over $100,000 on YouTube? Watch this. 89%. 89% of the YouTube users are making 100 grand or more. Do I want to be on YouTube? Absolutely. And consistently, right? How many of them are in the United States? 83%, right? What's my growth ability? Super high. The more content I put out on YouTube, the more information people will receive from me. And the more subscribers I get, the more push notifications they receive when I post more stuff. Sometimes they'll share that stuff. It gets very interesting. And here's the best part. Google owns YouTube. So when people search your name on Google, and if you have a ton of videos on YouTube, those videos will show up in the search for you, right? So you want that. Here's a better piece about Google. We can advertise on Google, which means that we can advertise and push our video content using Google AdWords software. So we'll get in front of more people, right? So if you want to raise your subscribers up as quickly as possible, you put some money behind some of the good videos that you have. You got a great property video that you did and you're in the video. I'm real serious about this. When I first heard this advice, I know P. Diddy's a sore subject right now, but when I first heard this advice, P. Diddy worked with, all the major rappers and superstars, and he was in every video. And there was a joke that went around and said, "Oh, you get that guy's the Diddy of the video," right? Because he was in every video. If he signed you, he was going to be in your video, right? And so when I heard this advice, they said, you need to be the P. Diddy of real estate. You need to be in all your videos. And I took that to heart. And I realized that my videos, and a lot of people don't do it because they want another realtor to share that video with other people without feeling like blah, blah, blah. Irrelevant. Push your content. So if you're going to put money behind a property video, you should probably be in the video so that they can see you. Okay. All right. So depth and relationship. Watch this. We talked 5 to 20 seconds on TikTok. The average person, and this is even on my YouTube. I'm basing on my YouTube. I get 6.5 minutes of average watch time. The average person watches 6 to 8 minutes, not seconds, minutes. They spend time. They put this on. They play it in the background. I do it almost every morning. Every morning, I follow a couple people that I want to hear content from. And while I'm taking a shower and brushing my teeth and doing all that stuff, I play YouTube video in the background. People now will meditate and they won't go to a music station to find meditation music. They will go to YouTube to find meditation music. Right, guys? Like, this is YouTube. YouTube is that strong. Okay. And then here's the conversion to the website. This is the good, the bad, the ugly, right? This is the ugly. Conversion is low to medium. Now, why is it low to medium? There's nowhere for me to have a conversation with somebody on YouTube. We can't DM each other. And DMing, that direct messaging, is what helps some of the other platforms be real dynamic in a sense, right? Somebody likes your video, they click on your profile, they dig your profile, they send you a message, right? In this platform, they can't do that. They can watch a video and click to go to your profile, but your profile is really your channel, which is a bunch of videos, right? It's very basic information about you, very short bio, small information. You can add some links on the header to lead people to other places, okay? But that's about it, right? And they get your videos. Now, That's the low part. The medium part is that you can put links in your header. You can put links in your bio. You can put links in every description for every video. Now, one of the things that we're doing lately is we are putting our links right up top before we even explain what the video is about. So when you're creating a video and you're going to write the description of the video, put the link that you want people to go to before you explain what the video is about. It should be the first thing people see. The first thing people see when they're liking your video and subscribing to your channel is how to communicate with you, right? That should be the first thing people see, okay? If they have to search for how to communicate with you, then it's just going to be low. You're not going to get that medium factor. If they have to search how to go to your website, or they have to remember what you said in the video, like in almost every one of my videos, I'll invite people to join my Freedom Achiever Academy. So I'll say the Freedom Achiever Academy is available for all real estate professionals. You've got over 300 training and coaching videos inside of a community where like-minded agents communicate. If you'd like to join for $9 a month, go to freedomachieveracademy.com. I say it in my video, but it doesn't mean at the end of this video, I'll ask you guys, who remembers the website? And you guys will go, right? So you can't expect for that to work, but that link will be in the description. So if somebody goes to the description of the video, they'll know how to find my academy, how to find me, what's my information, what other businesses I'm involved in, and everything else, okay? So this is YouTube. In my opinion, YouTube this year from me is getting 100% of my attention. Like, I don't want to say 100%. I want to say I'm going to be spending at least 70% of my time building YouTube when it comes to social media. But what will happen is that a lot of those videos will waterfall into my Instagram, which will be my number 2. Okay. And so I'm going to talk about Instagram next, because that's like my next thing. Like, that's where I dominate. That's where I have a ton of video, a ton of followers. That's where I have sold from. I have sold product there. I've sold houses there. Like, it is the place where people will truly connect with you, because they can watch videos, they can see photos of you, they can read your profile, they can click on your links, and they can direct message you all from one platform. Okay. So let's go to Instagram now. And I want to say something about YouTube, right? YouTube, Instagram, anything. Let's talk video for a second. A lot of people think that video has to be perfect, and it absolutely doesn't have to be, okay? So this is what I'll encourage you to do. The way you're on this Zoom right now with me, just open the Zoom, put some AirPods on or some headphones, open the Zoom, click record, and record what you want to say. Download that video. There are some very simple programs like CapCut that you can skirt the front and skirt the back and add a logo to it, and then take that video and put it on YouTube. And do it as much as possible. Because one day the videos will catch fire, and one day you'll say, okay, I'm going to have a professional come in, or I'm going to hire a virtual assistant to, work on my videos, or whatever the case is. And that could be later. But for right now, dude, if you're in the car and you have a phone holder for your car and an idea comes in your head that you want to share with the world, turn your phone this way, put it up on the holder, press record, and have a conversation. That's it. Let them see your car roof and all that nonsense. Like, who cares? You just got to do it, right? You just got to do it. Right now, we've had like serious conversations about people who are looking for perfection. And there's no such thing as perfection. And people will delay until they can find perfection. And while they're doing that, there's somebody doing it at 50% that did it 600 times that beat them to the finish line every time. Which means if you and I are running a marathon, and I run that marathon in baby steps, little tiny half steps. I run all 26.2 miles in little tiny baby steps. and you stay at the start line trying to figure out the best method to run a marathon, I win. That's the simplest explanation I can give you. So just do it. Doesn't matter. Just do it. Right? People say, should I talk about politics and like things like that? Who cares? It's you. If you're comfortable talking about it, be comfortable talking about it. I had a coach once tell me, a coach that was coaching me, he said to me, do you talk about politics on your podcast? I said, absolutely not. I said, and I said it with pride, guys, like, no way. Right? And he looked at me and said, why not? And I said, well, I don't want to deter anyone. And he said, let me tell you something. For every one person that you deter because they don't have your particular belief and morals, you'll pick up three people that had no idea that you felt that way. And it just clicked. So talk about whatever you want to talk about: cars, horses, farms, skyscrapers. I don't care what it is. Talk about it because it's gonna relate to someone else out there. Okay? All right, let me dig in. Is that a squirrel moment there for a second? Hold on. All right, let's talk about IG, the famous Insta. All right, Instagram. So Mazzari, I think, is the CEO of Instagram. If you could just like Google it on your free time, who's the CEO of Instagram? His Instagram is going to come up in the Google. Click on it, follow it, because he does get on there often and talk about Instagram and what's happening on Instagram and gives you advice on Instagram. Okay. Um, and he's the one that I told you people favor videos. He's the one who talked about that, right? Now, he did say in another video that Instagram tracks how many times people share your video. The more people share your video, the more Instagram will put that video in front of people. They will also track how many people copy the link of the video to share it somewhere else. They will favor that over people sharing it within the platform. Why? Because they feel that the more people that share it outside of the platform will invite more users to join Instagram. So they'll give that preference. Okay. All right. So how many people on this platform make over 100K a year? A whopping 54%. All right. Turns out Gen Z prefers to DM on Instagram than they do in TikTok or anywhere else. They prefer Instagram for direct messaging. Conversations happen better there. Okay. How many people in the United States are on it? About 47% of the United States is on Instagram. How's the growth ability for you? It is high as long as you're consistent with posting. Now, here's the thing with Instagram. 2 times a day is perfect. It's the sweet spot for Instagram. 2 times a day. That is the absolute sweet spot. Okay. All right. Depth in relationships. People will watch your stuff for 12 to 20 seconds, which is good enough. Okay. And then conversion to your site, super high. Super high for a few reasons. One, your links are on your bio. They can find them there. Two, the more monetization you rise on Instagram, the more ability you have on Instagram, right? The more you can put for advertising. So the bigger you get on Instagram, the more they let you do. For instance, at some point you get big enough where you can actually put a link in the actual reel. So where you're doing the reel, and then you can add the link to it, and it'll show up at the bottom of the reel. And if people love that reel that you're doing at that house, they can click that link and check out that house. Also, you can run ads through Meta, and you can create all kinds of different ways to run ads. You can run them in stories. So when people are flipping through stories, they can look and then they swipe up and they see your website, or they click the link and they see your website. You can post stories with links on them so that people see your story and then they just click your link, right? You can create ads that show up in the feed as a sponsored ad and they can click your link there. So conversion to your site is extremely high because there's so many places to put it on Instagram. There's so many ways to do it. Okay. So now in this piece here, this is the second platform, like in the levels. It's going to be number one, YouTube, number two, Instagram, where I'm going to be putting my focus because it has the right amount of people that make the right amount of money, that create the right amount of engagement, that has the best type of conversion. Okay. Now I'm going to give you a little tip. I make a YouTube video for the David Adam Kurz Show, which is my podcast. Okay. I make a YouTube video for the David Adam Kurz Show. We create the video on this Zoom right here that we're doing, okay? Or I use another system called StreamYard. But we create the video on this Zoom right here. And then when I download it, it allows me to download it in audio and video. We take that video and we put it on YouTube, the whole video, right? We edit it, we clean it up a little bit in the back and front, and then we put it on YouTube. But then I take that video and I cut it into short videos or reels. And I use a program called Opus Clip, which allows me to load the video, and then Opus Clips AI will spit me back 3 or 4 reels that I can use that it deems to be good for social media. Okay. Hey, Mike, can you put a link to Opus Clip on there in the chat for everybody so that way they don't miss out on it?
Okay, sure.
Thank you. All right. Now I take those shorts and those reels and they go to Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, and X. Am I missing anything? Oh, yeah. And YouTube Shorts. And then here, what I'm doing is every single one of these posts has the reel and a link to the full video. So you guys have seen it before. You see like a 20-second clip of something. It's really good. You go to the description, it says see full video here. Right? So from this, and then I take the audio and I use the audio and I put it in a program called Libsyn. Mike, put that link in there too for everybody, okay? I put it in a program called Libsyn. Libsyn sends it to Apple, Google, and Spotify. That's my podcast, right? So I create one video using this Zoom, and from that one video, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 directions I'm going with it. And here's the best part. I have at least 3 reels that'll pop out of a 10-minute video. At least 3 reels, right? So this is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. 18 posts on shorts. That's 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. This one video gave me the opportunity for 22 posts on all different platforms. 22. Now, if I did one podcast per week, do the math on that, right? That's 88 a month. If I did one podcast a week, 88 posts a month across all different platforms. Okay. Michael says we also push the podcast on YouTube Music, which is previously Google Podcast. So we're pushing it on there too. Okay. All right. So let's go. Let's erase this and let's move on to the next thing. And hopefully some of this stuff is helping you guys out. Okay. Another thing I'll give you about YouTube. There's a program called vidIQ. Mike, can you put the vidIQ out for everybody in the chat? Okay. There's a program called vidIQ that is an AI that will attach to your your YouTube channel, and it'll tell you if your video content and your thumbnail that you use for the video content and the description is significant enough to catch fire. And it gives you advice on what you can do to make it better. Okay? And I'll show you guys some of that too. I'm giving you guys the magic. Now, you got to go out and use it. All right. The next platform we're going to talk about is Facebook. Okay? On Facebook, 68% of Facebook users are making over $100,000 a year. 68%. 68% of Facebook users are in the United States. Okay? Your growth ability on Facebook is super high because the entire idea behind Facebook was always developing relationships. So your depth and relationship ability, the amount of time that people spend looking at your stuff is almost a full minute, 53 seconds. Now check this out. Same exact video might be on Instagram, but they'll watch it for 12 to 20 seconds. That same video on Facebook will get 53 seconds. Let's talk about a 10-minute video, right? That same video on YouTube will get 6 to 8 minutes. They're all important though, right? Which is why I'm going across all different platforms. Then of course, Facebook has a medium to high conversion rate because it gives you similar ability as Instagram, where you can put links in your description, you can put links in comments, you can put links in posts, you can put links in videos. I mean, it just, you can use Meta to advertise the same way that you do on Instagram, on Facebook. Meta owns both platforms, right? So it gives you a tremendous amount of opportunity to push across, okay? I'm going to speed up a little bit because I know I'm running out of time. I want to make sure I get through these and show you some stuff so that you have an idea on what you can do and use. All right. Get rid of this, too close. Okay. Next one we're going to talk about is one that I don't use often enough, and I should probably use more, but it is X, the platform formerly known as Twitter. Okay. 29% of the people using X or Twitter are making over 100 grand a year. 22% are in the United States. Okay. Growth ability is about medium, right? Depth is a tough one because there's no analytics in X. You can't go into X and see how much interaction you're having. There's no way to find the analytics. So we'll just put an X there. And then conversion to website, super high for a couple reasons. You can put in your tweets, I don't even know what they call them now because it's X, right? In your little X's, you can put links, you can add links to your profile, you can run ads on X. You can do all those different things to get people to convert to come visit what it is that you're selling, right? More importantly, if you create a conversational dialogue on X, you will get more activity, okay? What do I mean by that? You create a post that is engaging where people will comment. They comment, you comment again. They comment, you comment again. Somebody else jumps in, right? They comment, right? So I post something, Brandy comes in and posts something, I answer Brandy, then Carlos comes in and answers Brandy, then I answer Carlos with correct information, and then Richard comes in and goes, all of you are wrong. That right there creates a tremendous amount of interaction. And then you come back and say, look, guys, hit this link, join this thing that I'm doing, and I promise we'll get through this. Okay? All right. So let's go through the X. Okay, so X is a fantastic opportunity, but you just got to figure out where you're going to put things. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about one last one. Actually, I'm going to talk two more. The next one I'm going to talk about is LinkedIn. Now, I'm just gonna be upfront with you. I find LinkedIn so daggone boring. Okay. It's so boring, there's no fun in it. However, the people on LinkedIn are using it as a professional platform. It's where people list their resumes. So instead of just having a short bio where you type CEO of blah 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 team at blah 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 company, there's an entire opportunity for you to build out a whole bio. You can go to my link and see everything I've done since I left high school. Every job I've ever had, you can find it there. Why is that cool? Because you can find people you want to work with in LinkedIn, and people are significantly more engaging in LinkedIn. When you message somebody in there, they are more likely to come back and message you back. Not instantly, because people spend less time on the platform. They got to get that alert by the email that says, hey, these people are trying to reach out to you. Okay. So 53% of the people on LinkedIn make over 100 grand a year. I found that number kind of surprising. I actually thought it was going to be more because it's a business professional platform, right? 30% people are using it in the United States, and with very low per day time frame. People spend more time on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and those other platforms than they will sitting flipping through LinkedIn, right? The growth ability is medium to high. There's no going viral on LinkedIn. You've never heard anybody come up to you and go, dude, I did this video and went viral on LinkedIn. Never happens, right? It's just not going to happen. Okay. But LinkedIn is extremely connection driven, right? Very, very connection driven. So it is designed where you're kind of forced to connect with other people, and you say things like happy work anniversary, right? Like you're it's all work related. Happy anniversary on your work, and this and that, and you get those messages. LinkedIn typically reminds me how long I've been at a company. I don't even look at it. I don't even think about it, right? Or how long I've ran something, right? Okay. Depth in relationship, LinkedIn doesn't give you any analytics, so we'll put an X there. And then conversion to your site, believe it or not, is extremely high if you can develop the connections. And that's actually what LinkedIn calls them. They don't say, he sent me a friend request. On LinkedIn, it's, I got a connection request. The entire idea is about how people connect on LinkedIn. All right. So LinkedIn's a great platform for professionals. If you're looking for another professional, if you're in the recruiting game and you're looking for agents to join your team, if you are looking to hire an assistant, if you're looking to hire a CEO, LinkedIn's a good place to poke around first, right? Okay, moving on. One final one for you guys. Okay. I'm actually going to talk about two more, but one that I'm going to dig into, and then the last one I'm just going to talk about very quickly. The next one I'm going to talk about is Spotify. So we talked about podcasts. Okay. It's not like it was before. Before, having a podcast, when there were very few people doing it, it was very easy to get a lot of listeners. Now seems like everybody's got one. So it's a little bit more difficult to get listeners, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Okay. So with Spotify, 54% of the people on Spotify are making over 100 grand a year. Okay. Um, 65% of America is on the platform. Okay. Growth for you, growth ability is low. And that's what we started with. We said not enough people are actually going viral with their podcasts anymore. Okay. It's not the way it used to be. It's very hard to do. But here's the crazy part. The depth and relationship. If somebody does come to your podcast and they do like it and they do want to listen, the average person listens for 20 minutes to a podcast. Podcast is the new radio, right? People now will opt into opening a podcast, and they'll average, excuse me, they'll average 2 to 3 podcasts that they want to follow, and they'll just jump into those podcasts in one of 2 places. They'll listen to it when they're on the road versus the radio, or they'll watch it on YouTube, right? Now, a significant amount of people have purchased into YouTube Premium. What does that mean? That means that now those people will go into YouTube to turn on the video, and then they'll lock their phones. And because they have premium, the sound keeps going, and they'll treat it like a radio, right? So these are the things I'm telling you. And then conversion is hard to rate. I want to write that down. It's hard to rate because it's hard to tell how many people actually come to listen to your podcast that actually click on links to come to your website. Very hard to tell. Very difficult platform to track in that sense. All right. But doesn't mean you should do it. I'm a believer in podcasting for a couple reasons. I believe that number one, there are people who listen to my podcast, and I know that potentially it's an opportunity for me to work with these folks. Number two, I believe that the people I interview on my podcast give me an opportunity to create more relationships. So I use my podcast platform to have an opportunity to create relationships with people. All right, across the world, across the nation, or wherever we're going. All right, I'm going to give you one more. Email. Okay. 96% of people that have an email address make over $100,000. 92% of people in the United States have an email address. Growth ability is super low because we get all these crazy emails all the time. Depth in relationship, 40%, because the more you show up in their email, the more you remind them about who you are, right? So before somebody deletes your email, they've got to read your name and the subject. And if they're not interested, they click delete or they unsubscribe. You don't want the unsubscribers anyway because they weren't going to do business with you anyway. So don't be sad when people unsubscribe, right? But email oftentimes is where the sale is made. They see you on social media, they watch you on YouTube, and then all of a sudden they get an email from you that says 123 Main Street is for sale. And guess what? Last night, John Smith was talking to Jane Smith about how they should stop renting and buy a house right around Main Street. And because you showed up at the right time, not because you knew it was the right time, but because you understood consistency, you got in. Okay? So email is a fantastic opportunity, and I'll give you the hard one. Amazon. Amazon is the easiest place for people to buy stuff. If you have the patience, the money, the time, and the ability to put the effort into it, I would encourage everybody to write a book. I don't care what the book is about, but the book is the absolute best business card in the world. Okay? So I can give somebody my business card, or I can walk up to somebody and give them this book right here. When I give them this book, it is less likely that this book will end up in the trash than my business card. It is more likely that they'll throw my business card away or put it in a pile of other business cards. But this book will sit around their house. They might even read the daggone book, and they'll feel like they got to know me a little bit because I wrote a lot about myself in this book, right? In my experiences. Absolute best business card in the world. Requires very little promotion. You put a good price on it. People just got to click like 1 or 2 clicks on Amazon and they buy it. And it's very easy. And Amazon sends it to their house the absolute next day. It's so easy. And Amazon has made it that way for you. Okay. So these are the social media platforms that I wanted to go over with you guys. I'm going to show you a couple things. I'm going to share my screen with you. And I'm going to show you a couple things so that way you guys can see some of the stuff we do. So obviously Spotify, this is being fed through the program that I sent you guys called Libsyn. Okay. So you can see that we have our podcast listed on here inside Spotify. Again, it's in Apple Music and everywhere else. Here's our X. You'll see that a lot of the branding stays very similar. Watch these videos, right? All these videos you see, okay? Remember those videos because you're going to see them again in my Facebook. You're going to see them again in my Instagram. They're all here, right? All of these are here. All those reels that you saw over there that were getting posted, they're all here in my reels. They're all here, okay? Um, Facebook, high engagement, high conversations with folks. This is my private page, and I do have business pages. I don't like working off my business pages. I work off my private page. Same thing with Instagram. I have a business page, but this is where I do business on my personal. Okay. This is our YouTube channel. I would love for you guys, Mike, can you post my YouTube channel up there? I would love for you guys to subscribe to our YouTube. We put out videos all the time. Like this video will be on YouTube as well. Okay. So you can see our shorts, very similar, right? You can see we do our Freedom Weekly webinars, which is this right here. You'll find it on this playlist. These are my keynotes, testimonials, my New You Real Estate Conference, Real Talk Miami in 2019, Real Talk in 2018. I did a show called the 10% Miami Mansion Edition. It's on here too. These are property videos. It just goes on and on, right? And then, of course, this is my podcast, The David Adam Kurz Show. So this is where you get the visual of my podcast, or you can listen to it on Spotify, Apple, and everywhere else. This is vidIQ. If I go to vidIQ and I click optimize, I'm going to refresh that. Let's see if it works because the internet's kind of messing with me. You'll see, for instance, this one right here was my last podcast, Overcoming Doubt, 3 Keys to Success in 2005. It went up 2 days ago. It's got 33 views. I've got a 90% score on my title. I've got a 90% score, 92% score on my thumbnail. It tells me exactly what I need to do. It'll even give me suggestions like keyword usage. I'm missing keyword usage in my title. So if I had keyword usage in my title, it would probably give me 100%, right? But then sometimes you try to add a keyword and it reduces the score because it loses something else. It gets too long or something like that happens. So you get to play with this program and figure out what it is that you're going to do. Here, look at this one. My assistant's watching right now, so we can pull his info. 19 days ago, Unlocking Success went out. The title got 85, but the thumbnail's at a 49%. That's got to change. So later on, Michael will go in and he'll change these thumbnails, 39%, 49%. The 100 by 12 challenge has 39%, right? And so why does it have 39%? We can go in here and find out. Thumbnail. Look at that. It's missing the topic match, emotional triggers, eye-catching elements, color and contrast, creative execution, curiosity, inclination, facial features, like things like that. So it's missing a lot of stuff that need it to become more acceptable by YouTube. And when videos are more acceptable by YouTube, YouTube has an fantastic way of understanding the analytics of your channel, and you get to see where stuff comes from. So when you do things that YouTube likes to put you in front of people, right? So I wanted to just tell you that because they will automatically create you as the next video to watch, or they'll suggest you in different sections. And those are all key things with YouTube. Now, YouTube's probably one of the most difficult ones to actually control. There are tags and coding that you need to do. Like, when you watch somebody's video and all the suggested videos on the side are also their videos, that's coding, right? And if you don't put that coding, it'll be your video and a bunch of other people's videos. And all of that stuff is a requirement for every post. So without getting too deep into it, hopefully this coaching or this training helped you understand where you need to put attention in the coming year and helped you kind of figure out what the difference is. And I gave you my little tip on how to get as much video out in different places without having to do a ton of video, right? So 22 posts from one podcast recording. So you've got tremendous opportunity there. All right, it is 1:01. We finished 1 minute late. Thank you guys for jumping in. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks with more information, more content. I will tell you guys that this video will be on YouTube, so subscribe to YouTube. And if you're not a member of our Freedom Achiever Academy, please do join. It's $9 a month. We have a new slogan. It is actually cheaper to learn and earn than it is to Netflix and chill. So join our network. You get 300 plus coaching videos and a community to communicate with people in. Netflix is $24.99 a month, and you're happy to pay them to not get any better in life. $9 a month. I can't make it any cheaper than that. freedomachieveracademy.com. Thank you guys for jumping in. Much success to you guys this year. See you in a couple weeks.